first phase of the drive, the Saga Media Drive. I'm with legendary YS Khong. I call him legendary because he's a multi-time Malaysian Rally Champion and he has his own channel. If you watch my channel and you haven't subscribed to his, go to YS Khong Driving, subscribe to his channel. He has an interesting channel, to say the least. Seriously.
Well, we have 180 over videos already.
Yeah. So, Saga Media Drive, he's been driving the first stint here, and I'm going to report my report on as passenger. Seats are very good. They grip here at the side. I like how the headrest looks. Look at it. It's so like sleek and nice. Let's talk about interior first and all. Nice tricord material here used. It's got that floating screen and all. So it looks like some Continental car nowadays. It does look like it's a nicer car to be in. This is an A segment sedan. That means this is the entry level car. You know, the Saga is a 4-door A segment sedan. One of only like how many in the market? YS nowadays? Sedan.
Sedan, maybe
Two.
yeah.
Yeah. So this and another one. You know which is the other one that a lot of Grab drivers like to use as passenger. This is so much more refined in terms of ride. It's very good. It actually rides. It's got nice firmness to the ride, but it's not bouncy or anything like that. There's that right amount of weighting and all. I think the bound and rebound in terms of suspension, how it rides, how it sits on the road and all, it's very good. YS has been taking it down on the B roads and all, really testing the ride and suspension and in terms of how it handles all the roads, and it does work very well. Cars don't expect a lot of soundproofing, a lot of vibration dampeners, you know, like.
But you've done quite a good job. You see how we're going through this?
Yeah, I mean, then the best thing is look at me and YS, how we are talking. While even though he's driving quite fast through this, all these bumpy roads and undulations, you must remember that I'm not afraid of anything. I'm still quite okay. I can talk like normal. He is talking normal to me. He's also laughing.
Blind trust.
Yeah.
Also because I can multitask.
Yeah. So we can multitask and basically do a lot of things at one time.
So I can talk, laugh and drive
at the same time, and listen to my funny and not so funny jokes also at the same time. And the car actually rides very well.
Yeah.
I mean, this road is
actually quite bad.
Yeah, they've patched here, they've patched there. If you can see, it's like full of patches here and there.
See, there's a bump here.
Yeah, there's a.
It's taking you very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a nice road indeed. It's a bit straight lah. I mean, we are talking about.
The corners are coming in, right?
Yes. High speed refinement in this little Saga is actually quite good.
See, this is the bumpy part. Look how he's taking it.
Oh,
very well.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was a sharp
Yeah.
ripple there. So it's good, very good.
And the brakes are quite reassuring. I just had to brake to just test them, you know.
Yes. Okay, back before I divert. Interior wise, as in, and all the finishing is as expected, hard plastics and all, but no complaints. No complaints and all, hard plastics and all. But in terms of how thick the plastics are, they feel good. I mean, they're not like some thin plastics and all. So they actually work. The steering wheel, not leather wrap and all, but it does have its nice. How does it feel? Like the old one?
Yeah, feels good.
Feels good, right? So everything's decent, you know. There's a new meter cluster in the middle. There's more information there. You can see how much petrol you're consuming right now on a bigger screen.
And the readout is LCD,
so it's clearer. In terms of equipment, you've got ABS, EBD, you've got traction control for these higher end models, and they're giving you all in this package of what, 39,800. Value for money indeed for a car that is about this size. In terms of as passenger and all, in the hands of YS, this car handles very well indeed. I mean, for a car this small, at this price again, it rides very well on all these sort of B roads and all. This car has predictable handling and it seems to be very, chuckable lah. That's the chuckability level of this car is quite good. I mean, no A segment sedan will give you this amount of ride and handling. In fact, it could give a lot of B segment sedans a run for its money actually, in terms of fun to drive, chuckability, and even refinement levels and all. Road noise is, I would say for A segment sedan, it's quite close to a nice B segment sedan. As a passenger, I'm happy with what they've spec'd out, what they've given, and no complaints. I'm a big guy like me. I like the seats because the seats have nicely sculpted sides and all. They can keep you planted in the seats, you know. Your whole body does not slide out to the other side when you're taking hard corners. So what other things could you add to my viewers now, YS?
It's time for lunch.
Yeah. All right. True. Lunch is always more important because after nasi lemak just now and after YS taking me
All gone.
It's all gone. It's all gone.
But
all right.
It didn't come out the way it went in,
So
it's okay.
the car has good handling because the car handles good, but driver drives very well. The car also is predictable. So my lunch is still in me. That's a very good thing. All right. The next stage of this video I'll be driving it out. Then I'll give you my points of view of how it drives and all. Alright, since I'm outside the car, let's just do a little bit of a walk around in terms of how this new Saga looks like. You see it from the front end, it has that cues from the X70, you have that infinite width grille. The whole front bumper is new, the grille is new. The wheels are new in this premium edition. They definitely have that European touch to it, as I've said in my earlier video. And then at the rear has got that bumpers with the vertical slits at the left and right of the rear bumper setup, with that rear valance, the trim, some sort of diffuser there. So these are the major changes in terms of exterior. Aside from that, there are bigger discs and drums in this car. It comes from the Iris and the Persona. So cost saving for Proton, standardizing all of them. So it just looked like they took a lot of cues from a certain European brand that I know. I think imitation is a sincerest form of flattery in some ways. So this is what this car is all about. But at this price range, it's something to aspire for. And they've done it right. I mean, you look at it, it just looks quite nice for a A-segment sedan in terms of how it looks. I mean, first time driving this Saga, it inherits the second generation Proton Saga platform when it was launched. So the seats are quite high up in terms of sitting position for if you're a guy who's about 5'8" like me. But you get a nice view out of the cabin and all. One thing I remember about driving this when it was first launched was that the steering. I think this new one is slightly lighter. It's a touch more vague. I think it's something to do with Proton said that they have actually made this thing a bit lighter in terms of, I think they must have changed the steering ratio in terms of how much it turns and all. When I drove the first of this third generation one, it has a bit more weight, I think, to it. So I kind of like cars which are a bit heavier. We are now at normal traffic speeds. I'm going about 60, so it does have that slightly lighter weight in slower speeds and all. But I think I'm getting used to the car and it feels to be nice. I'm getting used to the weighting because I thought it was going to be a bit heavier like the previous the pre-facelift model. So far it's not. It's good in terms of steering. I would say it's very, I mean, at these low speeds it seems to be accurate enough. What else is there? Right over this there's these yellow ripples here, the lines and all. Seems to be good. Brakes are better, but I think there's a bit of dead travel there. A slight bit of dead travel in terms of before it wants to bite. So you got to learn the car first. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some cars have a bit of dead travel play, you know, that 1 or 2 millimeters before anything. And we're now overtaking a lorry. It seems to have ample poke there. Accelerator pedal seems to have a funny on the floor, right? There's a certain, it feels like has a bit of, there's a small, I don't know, there's a piece of metal here which I don't quite like. I don't know whether I remember it in the old car, but I don't quite like it there. Throttle response seems to be good, but brakes has got the initial bit of dead travel there, which does not inspire much confidence if you have just say you've just come out running, you know, you're running away from somebody, a you're running away from something, say an angry customer, an angry girlfriend or something like that. Then you jump into the car, and then when you drive off, when you put your heart and soul into it, it feels like it does corner well. And same with the terms of throttle, yes, but there's a bit of that extra bit of metal somehow below the accelerator pedal, which I think I could do without, but it does allow kick down and all, so no worries and all. There's no snag. I won't snag my leg on the pedal or anything like that. It does work. Brakes on the, when it was cold, it needed a bit of a warm up. I think now it's a bit less of the dead travel, so it could be down to this car, I think, because the change of weather between, it was hot just now it's been raining for quite a while, drizzling and all, so maybe the change in temperature has actually caused a bit of change in how the fluid works, the brake fluid works. Now I feel it's a bit nicer on the brake pedal. So the thing about cars, sometimes this is a first batch production, so maybe it's down to brake fluids inside, you know, the person who filled it up, how it was, this one, you know. But now it's fine, it's just nice. It has that nice, you can modulate the brakes nicely through these corners and all. I'm driving it and all. Now we are on a slightly more
wet
windy,
surface,
wet uphill, this one. So I'm not really pushing this car to the max right now, but we're still doing about 85 kilometers per hour on this.
In the rain, in the rain.
Yeah. Driving leisurely through the countryside, because this car can actually handle quite well in terms of this. It feels predictable. It feels safe to be on driving quite fast. But the problem is the car has actually got quite good soundproofing and all in terms of this one, like a bit of initial stabilizing understeer there. I mean, you go into the corner a bit too fast, it actually tells you. And I'm just going through the Bailey Bridge at non-Bailey Bridge speeds, and it still can have its composure. So I'm enjoying this Saga in some ways, you know. Oh, we've caught up to the convoy also, in fact, which is quite a surprising thing, because I thought I was driving at uncle speeds, you know.
No, you were going quite fast, man.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm having a decent conversation with you guys and YS here, so I thought I was doing some leisurely driving in the countryside, you know, breathing a bit of the air-conditioned fresh air. I mean, how fresh is air-conditioned air?
He's trying to sound nonchalant.
Yes, trying to sound. Yeah,
but actually it's a tribute to the car, right?
Yes, car is good. You're right. There's no drama in this car at about 80 through all these corners and windy roads, and even in this sort of weather, you know. Yeah, the car seems nicely damped and all. For an A segment sedan, damping is good, the ride is good, the handling is very predictable, no complaints whatsoever. Space also is good. Sitting position, as I said earlier, is a bit high, most likely because it's based on the platform which was already there. I mean, Proton couldn't do much in terms of this one. This is still a facelift. Remember, body, you have new front bumpers, new rear bumpers, and the
new rims,
new wheels, new rims, and also so there's a bit
bigger brakes.
Yes, bigger brakes. So in terms of how it looks better. How it drives better. It's also a bit, somehow refinement levels are high, so can't complain on those things. I mean, Proton has done quite a good job here for a car and brought the price down, which is like, again, wow, amazing. Best A segment sedan that I've driven in 2019, or have been in 2019, definitely. So
yep, agreed.
I can't complain at all on that point. It's the best.
Well, just remember, this is the premium, yeah?
Yeah.
And the wheels are 15-inch.
Yes.
So that also helps handling quite a bit.
Yes, it does. It also somehow rides decently well on this 15s, so yeah. It's good. The noise suppression, the ride, vibration, NVH and all levels have definitely been refined a tad bit more. So the car is more refined.
And just now when we were going through the corners fast,
yeah,
as I came into some of the harder ones, what I did was some trail braking.
Yeah.
And that was to transfer the weight to the front.
Okay.
And the back was coming out in a very predictable fashion, so it's very chuckable.
So the chuckability factor is very high.
Very high chuckability.
So it also shows that the car is behaves what you want it to be, how you want it to behave, you know.
Yes.
A 1.3 litre engine is good enough in terms of power delivery and all. 95 PS, 120 Newton meters of torque is actually enough to make a Malaysian Rally Champion smile. Smile.
Well, my first race car had only 69 horsepower.
Wasn't that your Civic, right? Was it a Civic?
No, my first race car was the Datsun 1200.
Ah, Datsun 1200. Then he drove a nicer and smaller, cuter looking car, the first generation Civic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes.
So imagine that. Even this has more horsepower than that.
Yes.
1200cc. So
Yep.
times have definitely moved on
Yep.
in terms of equipment levels. Definitely have moved on. We got ABS, EBD. You've got nice floating screen.
Yeah.
You've got digital information display here. You have so many things that people who had 40,000 ringgit to spend, say 10 years ago, would not have been able to buy.
Yep.
So this car definitely has a lot going for it in terms of refinement, right, reliability, price and all. If you don't buy this car, I don't understand why. I mean, you have a choice of the competitors and all, I understand. But in terms of what is given to you in terms of refinement, personally, I'm a guy who loves a lot of things to be very refined. I like the good things in life. So if I can get the good things in life in a package worth 40,000 ringgit, I'm telling it to you, this is good enough. Definitely, it's more than good enough.
Well, there is actually one A-class sedan that is better than this. But it will cost you about 240,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that A-class sedan. Hey, but if you notice, that A-class sedan and might have bumpers like that if it was a Sportline edition, right?
Yeah.
The front bumpers and the rear bumpers somehow have got A-class Sportline edition looks to it. So, you can either spend 40,000 ringgit or
No, you can buy 6 of these or one of those.
yeah. So the choice is yours.
Yeah, you can buy one of those and 6 of these.
Yeah.
Roughly like it's 5.6 or
5.6 cars.
5.7.
Oh my god, man! Imagine how many cars I can have.
You buy one of these, save 200,000, put in the bank.
But if you buy two, also be okay, right?
Then you can have a his and hers.
Yeah. So I'm Rickval Reza reporting for Motoring Malaysia together with YS Khong this time around.
I'm just a troublemaker here.
Yeah, I like this troublemaker anyway. So do subscribe to Motoring Malaysia. Do subscribe to YS Khong's channel also. I'll put the link in the description below also for his channel and all. So this is our report of the Proton Saga, the new 2019 Proton Saga sedan. So far we love it, and if there's nothing else to say, this is the drive report of this 2019 refreshed Proton Saga, a Malaysian icon.
We are ready!
Okay, we've arrived at Ipoh. I think I haven't described the best improvement in this Saga aside from ride and handling. You know, ride and handling is definitely good. Proton tweaked it a bit. It was already good last time. Steering was, after driving it a little more, it's good enough. More than once you get used to it, everything is nice. I think the sponginess, the dead travel was due to maybe brake fluid and all. So you get it bled out properly, everything done properly, it'll be okay. So in terms of the biggest and best improvement in this Saga is the gearbox. The gearbox makes this car so much better, so much more refined. The gear shifts are smooth. It actually holds to the red line when you want it to. It does a lockup in terms of 4th gear when it's 4-speed auto. So when you're cruising, it won't simply just shift down for no reason at all, which allows you to save petrol. We actually got it down to about 6.6 liters. From YS drove it on the earlier stretch, it was about 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers. We got it down to about 6.3 after a bit of normal driving and all. Yeah, I was driving quite fast and all, but not too fast. But the consumption was good. In fact, this, people said CVT consumes is more efficient and all, but somehow the engineers for this Proton Saga Facelift have actually made this new torque converter 4-speed auto into something nice to drive, and also into something which consumes less petrol, less fuel than you think a normal 4-speed auto transmission would do. So it's more refined also in and around town, in traffic, you know, start stop, traffic light and all. It's nice. The car actually performs well for what it does. If you're a normal driver, you want anything, for 40,000 ringgit, a smooth gearbox, a nice refinement and levels and all, it's good. And the pairing of this 4-speed automatic transmission was even better with the engine. The 1.3 liter engine is even better than when it was before with the CVT. There is less noise, vibration and harshness in terms of resonance. Also doesn't have that funny metallic feel. I think there's no whiny rubber band or whatever feel. The drone, there's no distinctive drone. There is no funny resonance at 3,500 RPM, 2,500 to 3,500 RPM in the Iris and the Persona. It is not felt in this car. So partly it could be down to the gearbox in some ways, if you think about it. So I mean, what else is there to say? At 39,800 ringgit, or if you don't want to spend for the premium, you get no less traction control and all, but you still get automatic gearbox. You only spend what, 4,000 ringgit lesser. So it's quite a fabulous car to get for this price. I mean, you're talking about Malaysia, on terms of Malaysian levels of affordability. Let's not talk about comparing prices like ringgit to the Australian dollar, or ringgit to rupee, or ringgit to rupiah. This is the best and most affordable car you can buy at under 40,000 ringgit. It shows. I mean, it's still a facelift, you must remember. So if you didn't like how the car is styled with that, you know, rearward sloping boot and all, you know, how the overall car is shaped, they've done the best. Changed the bumpers and all, added a grille, have more of the X70 look to it, the more of the family look to it, the new family look. So this is the best they can do for a facelift. But in terms of drivability, driving experience, they've nailed it with this. So again, this is the additional wrap up of what we found with in this initial Proton Saga media drive. So we drove the premium model here, the 1.3 premium automatic, and this is my finding of it. So do subscribe to Motoring Malaysia. This is our wrap up of it. Alright.